Hi, thanks for joining me. It's April Winchester, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. In today's video, I'm going to make a card that I've actually made several times now. Mostly in the same way, but trying to utilize a couple different I don't know how to explain it, but anyways, I was just struggling. I really liked the idea of the card, but I was struggling, mostly with the adhesive, I guess. And also just kind of like, do I use the embossing folder? Do I not use an embossing folder? What's the best way to do it? So anyways, I'll show you what I'm gonna make, and then you can always change it up if you decide you want to make the same thing. So I just have all my parts here. I'm just going to pull them out. All right. So today we are going to use the Spruced Up stamp set. This is probably, there we go. The Spruced Up outline dies and this embossing folder, which I thought I wrote down, but I don't see it. I can't remember what this is, but it'll be in the description below. And all the measurements will be in the description below, everything. Also going to be using the Celebrate Everything DSP, which is a host item, but you can use any DSP you want. I like the fun colors. This is definitely a little festive, like Christmassy, and that's what I'm doing as a Christmas card, but you can certainly use the and make this for like a birthday or something. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I couldn't fit my card base into that envelope. I can't even think, I'm so sorry. Into that envelope without folding it. So I've already got my folded card base here. I'm gonna set that aside for a minute. I have two pieces of paper. This is Pool Party cardstock, in which I embossed with that embossing folder. And honestly, this is a leftover piece from a different project. So I didn't want to waste it, and that's what brought me to use it on here. And then this piece of DSP. I'm going to flip them over, and I'm going to butt them against each other. And then I'm just going to take a piece of tape. Yes, here we go. I have one that's open. I'm going to take some tape and just tape these together, butted right up to each other. But I don't want to overlap them. Okay, so that holds them right together like that. Then I'm going to glue this straight down onto my card base. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. You could, if you wanted to, you could certainly pop this up with dimensionals. And I just want to make sure I've got a fairly even border all the way around. And then I'm going to take this strip of Pool Party, and I'm going to use this across here as though it was like ribbon, because I don't want to show that where they butt to each other. I think it looks better with something there. And then I had thought about using ribbon. I looked at a couple, and then I just decided, you know what? I actually want to just use the Pool Party. So give me just a second here. I thought I had cut this correctly, but apparently not. So I'm just going to trim it. There. Now I will go ahead and adhere this down with my seal as well. Just put it right across the center and try to make sure it's straight before I push it down. And a good way to do that is, if you have a grid mat, is line it up on your grid mat and the grid paper, and then you can see where it is. Okay, now I have this piece of scrap black. In the Spruced Up outlines, you'll find these little presents. I cut out 3 presents in black, and then I also cut out 3 presents in some DSP because I wanted the inside of, like, I wanted the present paper to be kind of festive, and then the outline to be kind of bold. So this piece, this is the part that I kind of struggled with. I usually try to use my silicone mat and my liquid glue and squirt it on the mat and then try to put it on these intricate pieces. However, it was just so messy, and I don't know why. Maybe I was just having a rough day that day, but I was like, forget this. So I'm using this scrap, and actually I might end up needing another one. But what I did is I decided to just put seal all around on this black scrap in a spot where a present would go. And then I don't care about the loops for the ribbon because I'm not filling those in, but I need something to adhere to for these DSP pieces. So I'm just gonna line this up. Sorry, just gonna line this up on here, and actually I should have trimmed that a little bit better, but it is what it is. So line it up and then stick that down. Now I can take my inside pieces and put them in, but something that I've realized is that these are not the exact same size and shape. They kind of look like it, but they're not. So the one on the left, the top is a little bit thinner, like less wide than the bottom, and I think this is the right, yes, and so this is the right piece, and this side is a little more rectangular than the other side. And I found that out kind of the hard way because I put, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these together, and I kept looking and being like, this doesn't look right, it doesn't look right. And then I realized it was because it was too much space, because these actually do need to go in the correct holes. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and put together the other 2 here. So again, we're just gonna line this up, find the correct size and shape. I think that's correct. I'll know better when I get them in, but you know, if you do that, you might not want to push them down until you know for sure. Okay, yep, those are good. And then last one. Now, I am kind of using a lot of seal, but I don't care for this. I really want to make sure that all the pieces get stuck down on there. So I'm going to go ahead and line this one up. And then again, line these pieces up in the side. I think. Yep, that's good. All right, now that I've done that, I'm gonna take my scissors, and I'm using my, I like to call these my sticky scissors, because I designate these specifically for when I need to cut something that's glue or sticky. So I'm just cutting around the edge of the present. So I don't want to cut that black part. So I got to be real careful because it looks very similar. But I'm just cutting all this edge off so that I have just the present left. And this one I did not line that up very good, which is not so good when you got those ribbons there and you don't want to cut the ribbons. But we'll do our best here. Snips would be great to get in there, but I don't want to get my snips all sticky. So anyways, it doesn't have to be perfect. Probably no one's even going to notice. That's the good thing about like doing the black on black too. And then just cut these up. And this one. I'm not sure if you hear anything in the background. I tried to turn the baby monitor down quite a bit, especially because we're not supposed to, when we're making videos, you're not supposed to have like copyrighted stuff in the background, but my son is watching Disney, and I have to have his baby monitor on at all times. He has type 1 diabetes and he's nonverbal, so I need to be able to know if his monitor is beeping or if he's okay. Sorry. So anyways, here is the card. Now we're gonna go ahead and pop these presents up right over the card like this. And you know what? I just realized after the fact, I wanted these two to be pink and this one to have this in the middle because that's a lot. But who cares? Whatever. I'll show you the other card in a minute when we're done so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I do have one more piece of pool party scrap like this that we're going to stamp on. But first, let's go ahead and pop these up. I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. I don't know why, I've been using those a lot more lately. I kind of like you could certainly fit regular size dimensionals on here with no problem. But I like the minis on smaller stuff like this. I don't know, I just do. Even though it could use the bigger ones. So, just gonna go ahead and fill these in with my dimensionals. I probably don't need this many, but you know, I tend to like dimensionals. So, and we are nearly done with this. I'm going to go ahead and take all the backings off. Now, when it comes to the mini dimensionals, I almost always use my Take Your Pick tool. I struggle otherwise to get the backings off. And I notice I can take about 5 or 6 backings off, and then I got to take all the pieces off here, or it won't keep picking up. I think it's just because it just gets stacked too much. Oh, all right. So now I'm going to go ahead and put these on, but the first I want to put on the one that's going to go in the middle, so I can kind of try to line it up a little bit. Let's see. This should be about the middle right here, but I'm not going to push it down. I'm just going to put it there so that I can see the how I'm lining it up, but if I like where it's at. There we go. All right, now this piece, I am going to use I think this is the Lovely Labels punch, I believe. I have this little 1/2 inch scrap that I'm going to poke in here. You can use either side, whatever side you want. Oh, it doesn't want to come through though. What is going on? Well, that is bizarre because I just used this. Let's try the other end. Yeah, there, that one goes through. And because this is so thin, I kind of have to line it up on the back so that it looks somewhat even. All right. I'm going to do that side in a minute, but first I'm gonna place this on here because this is about where I want it. And I'm going to trim off about how long I want it to be. And then I'll put the other end back in to cut that a little bit. And again, you gotta kind of line it up, which is a little bit hard, I feel like, with the 1/2 inch piece. All right, that's perfect right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. And in this stamp set, it has this sentiment that says, whatever brings you happiness, ... And then on the inside, we'll put, may it be yours this holiday season. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Memento black ink and ink this up. Try to line this up in the middle here. That's a little low, I think. Oh, it looks good. And I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Bringing in the minis again. All right. Now, my card is pretty much done. However, you could certainly do more. You could add some bling, you could add some ribbon, you could use some Wink of Stella. Any of that stuff would be great. And could add a little bit to it. But I wanted to just leave it like this. Actually, the presents might be cute with Wink of Stella on them. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside real quick. And then on the inside, if it's a white card, I tend to just stamp directly in. If it's a colored card base, then I tend to put a white or vanilla insert in it. And usually if I put an insert in, I'll stamp the insert first, then put it in. When it's just a card like this, if you hear my kids yelling, I am so sorry. They like to fight with each other a lot. This summer has been a real rough. It's also our first summer with me home with them because I usually work. And it is our first summer without my husband, who is their dad, and it has been kind of rough on them. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just stamp this in here. And one of the good things is if I stamp and I really don't like it, I can put an insert in still right over it. Nobody will have any idea. So it will be perfect. And then I guess for a final thing, I'm just gonna stamp a couple of these little mini presents that are in the set. I haven't used this present yet, so let's do a little quick wipe down. And we're going to use, let's use polished pink, because there is pink in here. And this is the Celebrate Everything DSP matches with polished pink. So I'm just going to put a couple little presents down here. And when it dries, it will look a little bit better than that. But this is also a brand new stamp. Like I said, I haven't used it before. So anyways, that is the card. I really like it. It's a simple layout, but it does take some time, especially with the die cutting and the embossing folder. But you can make this, use this layout for like anything, literally. I will show you, like, using this same stamp set, I made several cards similar to this. Same paper too, comes from the same DSP. And this is the project I was saying that I had left over from. Anyway, so that is the card for today. And just real quick, I'll show you the one that I made that I said, oh, I meant for it to be pink on both sides. I think this one is better. It kind of pops better. I don't know what I was thinking, but it is what it is. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about the project, feel free to contact me. All my contact information is in the description below. So is links to all of the items that I used to make this project and a link to my blog. So thanks, and I'll see you next time.